Hello, Kubrick Lover 1972 here. Of course, you know me as Brian. I haven't posted a Blu-ray and DVD pickups video for a while, I don't think. I think it was June, the last one, June 5th, I think it says on my YouTube channel. I have posted videos since then, as you might notice on my channel. A fair amount of music. I don't know if I can't remember if I've done a video where I'm on camera since June 5th. I don't think so. I can't remember. I just can't. I don't know if that's because I'm 50 years old or what. And my birthday was September 21st of this year, so now I'm 50 years old. Kubrick Lover 1972, you know. So it's now 2022 and I'm 50. But anyways, so I'm getting kind of forgetful, I guess. So before the video starts, I'm going to put on some two songs. Well, they're not songs, actually, but they are part of the Hiroshima album that I've been working on. And if you notice on my channel, I have at least 22 songs, or maybe it's 24 now, of the Hiroshima songs. And these next two pieces that you're going to hear at the start and end of this video, one is a poem, and the other one is narration. I think, which one should I put first? I'll put the poem first. It's kind of a toss-up, but anyways, let me finish this part of the video as fast as I can, so you can move on. You know, if you want to fast forward to the pickups after the first Hiroshima song. Well, it's not a hit song. It'll be a poem. But anyways, after the poem, the video, the regular pickups will start. I might do some talking after the poem, but after the poem, I'll put on the screen. I'll say, at this point on the video, the actual pickups start. So don't worry, if you don't want to watch all that stuff before the pickups, you don't have to. And I'll just say before this all starts that my friend Sacha from the UK, he's the one that you hear the voice of on the end and at the start of this video. And I'm going to put his poetry. Well, it's a poetry that I wrote, a narration that I wrote that I asked him to speak. And I'm going to put them on separate videos as well on my Kubrick Lover 1972 channel as well, and separate videos, and also separate videos on the Rocking Ronin 47 YouTube channel, which is just music, so you can hear them by themselves that way as well. If you want to fast forward through that or whatever, I'm gonna put Sacha, my friend Sacha's YouTube channel here, and I'll say about Sacha that just to let you know that he's done some other work on YouTube. Besides, of course, his own channel, showing his custom sleeves, which he does beautiful custom sleeves. Like he doesn't like the ratings he lives in the UK, so he doesn't like the ratings on the UK ones, and so he makes his own custom sleeves, which are beautiful renditions of various movies. And but other YouTubers have asked him to for him to be on their channels for their videos, such as Corey, King Gore. I think he's gone through a few different channel names, because he started off as Need Gore, and then I think more Need Gore. I think he's King Gore now. So he did I think it was the first hip hop album he put on YouTube. He had Sacha do some narration on that. I think it was at the start of the album. And then Sacha also was I think it was Bryn Dwyer. I might put up their channels too. Corey's and Bryn's. I'll put their channels up. I think I have enough time to put everybody up because it's 6 minutes in right now. Anyways, he did I think he's on I think I'm almost positive. He did 2 so far, and I think he's done a third. It's called Apple Pame. I can't remember how to spell it, but anyways, it's these short films he made, and he has I think he has Sacha on them. I'm almost positive, at least on the first one, because another friend of mine on YouTube, Jace, I'll put him up here too, and but he was on the Bryn's film as well. I think one of the voices on his film, and so yeah, I was on those 2 projects, Corey's, Bryn's, and then he was on, I think, another person's project. Wish I could. I'm stumped. There's, I think, at least 3 people he's done stuff for, and I wish I could remember who. Oh, you know what? I think it's Night Watch. I think it's Nights. He did. Yes, I think it was him. I think it was around Halloween time last year. I think Knight asked him to do some narration. So again, he offered his services. And he's got this very unique voice. As you can hear it from this video that you'll hear, and also from other people's channels, and his channel himself. So it's a very unique voice. So, anyways, he's a great guy, and I'll shut up now and start the rest of the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.
My eyelids droop from the heavy spell of sleep. My thoughts are going down chasms deep from the heavy spell of sleep. If only I could learn how to keep and reap rewards from my leaps down the caverns of the heavy spell of sleep. There must be solace, I'll find it there, as my nightmares sweep from the heavy protected air and walls of my keep from the heavy spell of sleep. Witches and demons all will weep when I discover their secrets and throw them out of my cavern steep with their jagged claws and carnivorous teeth of 8 so deep when I finally expel them from the heavy spell of sleep. If only I could learn how to count the sheep, I would turn them into werewolves to eat my fears so deep down in the chasms of the heavy spell of sleep. Hiroshima, oh Hiroshima, why must we die 1,000 times and more to give to the rich and steal from the poor? When will the lucky ones open the door so we can finally stand up on the floor? And no longer will our lives be a chore, and no longer will we be bored and given to hatred and causes unfounded, to dirty deeds, and will not be well grounded. We must come together and hold each other's hands and walk along Hiroshima's majestic sands. Oh Hiroshima, give me sleep. Oh Hiroshima, make this our keep.
Okay, I'm back. Hopefully, I think the poem was fantastic that you just heard. But well, I wrote it, of course. I mean, what I mean is Sasha's speaking of it is great, and I put an echo on there. I put it up. I put it on my GarageBand. I took the file from my email and then put it in GarageBand, and then I put Echo Studio on it to give it that sound, So I think it came out well. He also did revisions for both that poem and the narration here at the end, and he did a great job. And thank you, Sacha. I really, you really add something to the album. And I'll just mention, I forgot to mention about the album that the last missing piece to the finishing the album is my cousin's daughter. I asked her last year, 2021 of July, that if she could sing on the album, and she said yes. But, things came up. She was, at that point in time, she was a senior in high school. She was applying for colleges in winter of 2021, 2022, and then she sang the lead role in Annie of her school play, and then she was a foreign exchange student, and then summer came. I thought she'd be available, but I guess it didn't work out. But I'm going to wait probably till Thanksgiving, Christmas time, when she has her winter break. Hopefully, I can get her to sing then on the album. So that's why it's waiting. And I do have other projects in the wings, and you might see them. Some of them have already been put on YouTube, or I've been working on stuff anyways, music projects. So, I mean, that's sort of what's been showing on my YouTube channel. I think is basically what I've been showing. And my tribute to my uncle who passed away, I think it was spring of this year or winter last year. Spring of this year, I believe. But anyways, I'm digressing. So this video is going to be structured in a certain way. I'm going to show... first off, I'm going to show my Planet of the Apes box set and my other, I think it's one or two other movies that are not associated with a certain boutique label. And then after that, I'm going to show my Vinegar Syndromes from the Vinegar Syndrome sale. And then after that, I'm going to show more arrows I got from an arrow sale. And then after that, I'm going to show my Criterions that I got from the Barnes & Noble Criterion sale. And there's, I think, one other Criterion that will be included with that I bought that was out of print off of eBay. So I had to get it that way. So anyways, that's basically how this video is going to go. I'm going to record it in parts. Each part I'm going to put, I think, a symbol on the front. Like, so, for example, when the Vinegar Syndrome part comes on, you'll see a Vinegar Syndrome sign, arrow part, arrow sign before I speak, and then a Criterion sign, so you can keep track where I am. And I just noticed my voice is sort of getting hoarse, so I better get something to drink while I'm doing this. But yeah, I'm going to be doing this in parts. I don't think I can finish this all tonight. Maybe I can. I don't know. It's already 11:49 at 11:50 at night now. It just turned 11:50. Sunday, October the 2nd. So I think it's going to take a while. This time I got a lot of space on my hard drive. I think I got about around 30 gigs worth of empty space on my computer hard drive, or I could load it up to my, my external hard drive. But I got a lot of space on my computer hard drive, so that's probably where I'm going to dump it for the time being. I'm going to, as I showed you at the start of this part right here, I put up a symbol that said the pickup started, this many minutes and seconds. Well, okay, and so I've said all that. Now we're going to get to the pickup. So just to make you aware, when it starts doubly, doubly, that's not a word, like as well, to tell you as well when it starts, I'm going to say when it starts, and then it starts right now. So I'll be right back. Well, not really right back, but you'll see me in a second. So, okay. I'm back. Before we start the pickups, I forgot one last thing. I bought Kinos. There was a Kino sale, so I forgot all about that. So it's going to be 5 parts. Is that right? Regular, random pickups, then Vinegar Syndrome, then Kino, then Arrow, and then finally Criterion. And then the last part I'll add to this before we start the video, the pickups, is that there's going to be probably a flash sale coming this month, so I'll be picking up a few Criterions then. And then I assume Barnes and Noble have their usual November 50% off Criterion sale, so I'll be probably getting a few then, and maybe some Arrows too, because they they usually have a sale on Arrows um, around the same time as they do on the Criterions in November. I think. I mean, like in July of this year, they started the sale on the Arrows in June, maybe mid-June, and then ended it in mid-July. And they started the Criterion sale in at the start of July and ended it at the end of July. So, okay, so yeah, so look for that's coming up in the future. And I have a Barnes and Noble Mastercard. So when I spend up to $2,500 on it, I get a $25 Barnes and Noble gift card that I can use online or in the stores. So I think I've got about $50 worth in gift card money, and I think one of them's already gone through, and the next billing cycle, the other one will go through. So yeah, I got a humongous credit card bill to pay, but I'm slowly working it off. Anyways, that's a you don't want to. I don't want to get into that because that's just Let me get to showing you the video. So let's get to that. Okay, part one. So we're gonna start with this movie. I don't know if I'm gonna get into the details of all these movies, saying like going on the back and reading everything, because I think it would bore people and be more time consuming. So I might cut that a little bit down, or just. But anyways, so the first one I purchased in this haul is The Man from Hong Kong. It's an Australian movie. I basically bought this. I saw the trailer somewhere on the internet. I can't. Maybe it was YouTube. I think it was YouTube. And I basically bought it because it has George Lazenby, who was James Bond in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, one of the best James Bond films I've seen. And also, it's got that Hong Kong Bruce Lee kind of stuff to it. It's set in Australia. The main character, I guess, is a Hong Kong kind of. I don't know. Maybe he's modeled after Bruce Lee, but I saw the trailer and like there was the stunts were basically I think what drove me to buying it. Like I think at the start of the movie, the main character, the Hong Kong guy, is it in what do you call this? A glider, and he's going over. Is it Sydney or Melbourne? The one with the opera house in I think it's Sydney, or is it Melbourne? Maybe it's Melbourne, Australia. And I saw like all these car chases and maybe fighting and stuff. So I thought it looked cool. So it has commentary. It has the making newsreel, talking to the George Lazenby. I'm talking too much. Trailer. It's also got two other features, and also features the commentaries on those as well. So it's got quite a lot of stuff on here. Some trailers. Oh, I guess it has. Maybe it has more than two features. No, I think it just. I don't know. I'm not sure. But there's a lot on here. So, and looking online to see what people thought of it, I guess people think it's cheesy. Some people don't think it's that great. I don't know. But anyways, that's the first item. The second thing I bought is, this is more highbrow. It's Face to Face by Ingmar Bergman. You're not going to find this on Ingmar Bergman Cinema Criterion box set, because most of those films that are featured on that box set are almost everything that Bergman did is on that box set. And I believe my friend Sacha was saying that, for example, Persona, the individual Persona Blu-ray was, what do you call it? had a good transfer, but the box set had an even better transfer. And it's also the case with the Fellini, Essential Fellini box set um, by Criterion. I think like other movies, like La Dolce Vita, for example, I have that on single, and I also have it, by itself on Criterion, and then I have it in the Essential Fellini box set, as well as eight and a half. I have that, by itself and in the box set. I'm sort of afraid to sell stuff on not YouTube, eBay, because I don't want to get a bad rating. But even if I'm afraid something's going to go wrong. Like I'm going to send it and it's going to get damaged in the mail, and I'm going to get a bad rating as a seller. So I've never sold anything off of eBay. I bought a lot of stuff off of eBay, I don't know if you know, but like buyers can get, I guess, a bad rating too. So I basically give everybody give good feedback to everybody that I buy stuff from, and basically almost all the time it's in good condition, So, anyways, this I bought off of eBay. I tried to buy this one other time, this copy, off another seller in I think it was California, but it never got to me or something, so I got refunded on that. So, but this one got to me. I noticed, I think I first heard of this movie during the movie Woody Allen's Annie Hall, where he's waiting at the movie theater for Annie Hall to meet him there and go into the cinema. And this is the film that he's going to go see. And she says, it's just only the starting credits are starting now, so you haven't missed any of the film. And he says, I gotta watch a film from beginning to end. Or it doesn't work for him. I guess I'm sort of the same way. I mean, I don't think this has any special features on it. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I feel like when I watch a film, even if I've seen it before, I've got to watch it from beginning to end with even the credits, even if I've seen it before. Sort of like to show my thankfulness to the crew and the cast, but also I just feel complete. This is just the way I am. And also I've learned. I used to watch a film from beginning to end in one day, but now I started to realize maybe I could just split films up. Sometimes like watch the starting one day, watch the ending another day, or watch it in 3 parts or whatever, 2 parts. I'm trying to be a little more flexible with myself on that and not be so hard on myself. And this is, what's her name? Liv Ullmann and Erland Josephson. They were in another good movie by Bergman called Scenes from a Marriage. Scenes from a Marriage, yeah. So, okay, next up is a box set. It's by 20th Century Fox. It's the Planet of the Apes box set. It's got all 5 original Planet of the Apes movies. I don't know if I can get into great detail about this. This was sort of sparked by a YouTuber named Ethel Cross. I'll put her channel right here. She did a Go Ape in April video on her channel. And she talked about these films. And I'll put up another person, the Horror Boy, I think his channel is, Nate. I think he did on his channel. Yeah, he did on his channel some analysis of some of these movies as well. And yeah, so. But anyways, here's the first one. This is, I think I got a commentary. I think it's loaded with special features on this. I'm pretty sure. Documentaries, all kinds of stuff. I gotta keep this thing going, or it's just gonna. Beneath the Planet of the Apes, the second one. The following Planet of the Apes films, I don't think have as many special features as the beginning one does, but it does have a little bit. They do have some featurettes on some of the others. Oh, this one's called Beneath the Planet of the Apes. The following one is Escape from Planet of the Apes. And the fourth one is Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. One of these has Ricardo Montalban in it. Check out Ethel's video on this, and check out Nate's video on the Planet of the Apes films for more detail about these films. Battle for Planet of the Apes. So I'm looking forward to watching these. I think I've seen these when I was a kid on television. They had like a Planet of the Apes marathon, because back in those days there were VCRs, but they're incredibly expensive. So, like they used to have like marathons or whatever on channels, like not the big network channels like NBC, ABC, CBS, but like the smaller ones, syndicated ones. But nowadays, and back in those days, also they video movies were released in a different way, in the sense that after they were shown in the theater, they were, I think, first shown on cable, I think right away after it was released theatrically. And then on television, regular television, you had to wait maybe 6 months. And then after that, it was released on video. But video, even back in those days, and like I'm talking the 80s, early 90s. Like, for example, when I bought Basic Instinct on videotape, I believe it was $40. I think so. And I bought another video. Oh, yeah, North by Northwest by Hitchcock. At the time when I bought it from Saturday Matinee in the mall, I think it was a $40 tape. But these days, that's nothing. You can get it for dirt cheap prices. And not just as a VHS, but a DVD. Even a Blu-ray. You can find good deals. But it was a different story back in those days. So, anyways, so that's the first part, and we'll go on to the second part. The second part will be the what do you call them? The Vinegar Syndrome. Vinegar Syndrome. So I'll be back in just a split second. Nothing will happen here. You'll just see me jump to the next thing. Okay, back. Vinegar Syndrome, as you as you saw in the title just a second ago. So I'll start with this one. This is a partner label, Saturn's Core. God Hates You. Well, that's what it says in the back, but it's called Shatter Dead. I watched this last night. I saw the trailer. If you saw the previous video I showed of my, my latest pickups, I showed a film called No Resistance in the Saturn's Core library. I showed 4 Vinegar Syndrome partner release titles. So on No Resistance, I watched one of the trailers, and one of them was Shatter Dead. So the trailer really drew me in. So I thought, maybe it would be an interesting film to watch. The trailer was good. The film itself, not that fantastic, I guess. But I did watch it last night because it was only an hour and 15 minutes. I did watch one of the special features, interview with Scooter McCrae, the director, by the cinematographer. And they're both fans of David Cronenberg. They said in the interview, and it's got 3 commentaries on it. This is because I looked at the disc last night. I haven't gone through the whole disc yet, but it's got 3 commentaries. It's got a film he made. I think it's a short film he made, maybe in film school, what else does it have? Some other trailers on there. Another film he did called 16 Tongues or something like that. So that's another one he did. And touring of the locations. That's another part of the video, Blu-ray, whatever. I don't know if it has another movie on here. And it has a VHS copy, I guess. I have to watch. Feel. I don't know if obligated is the right word, but I feel like I have to watch everything on a movie, no matter how bad or good it is. So I'm probably going to watch all this film 3 times over with the commentaries, and I guess a VHS copy and the other stuff. So that's going to be a while. So it's going to be, if you take 1 hour and 15 minutes and time it by maybe 4, that's like 5 hours worth of watching, and then you got to watch a special feature. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if it'll be in a rush to watch this again, but I don't know. It's sort of interesting, but didn't really live totally up to my expectations. So, but anyways, that was the first one. Next up, we have one called Dominique. Some of these sales are influenced by YouTubers that were talking about sales on their channels. This is there's a YouTuber named Master Chaos TV. Well, no, he doesn't have the TV in his channel name anymore, but it's Master Chaos. I'll put it here. But anyways, here's one of the ones he recommended called Dominique. So it comes with the Blu-ray and the DVD. And I don't know if I want to open up and take these discs out, because it's going to be more time consuming. So that's the first. That's another one. And then the next one is the Candy Snatchers. I'm sorry that I'm not showing all these special features, but I think Vinegar Syndromes are, well, the case with Vinegar Syndrome is some of them are like, a fair number of them are low budget movies that were shot on not necessarily always film, but maybe even, some of them are shot on video, and not like digital video. All of them, like some of them go way back to the past, like the 90s or the early 2000s. I think Shattered Dead was shot in, I want to say 2003 or so. And No Resistance, a film I showed on, I think it was my previous video. I think that was shot in 1992, maybe. But at the time, they didn't have cameras like, iPhones or whatever, so they shot it on, I think, Super VHS. So the quality suffers a little, I guess, when you look at it. But then with the restoration process they did for it, I think what they did, I think what they did with Shattered Dead, maybe No Resistance, they took the tapes, the original generation, rather than the generations that are copies are made. Because when you make a copy of a film and then copy it, it gets worse in color and sound, I think, as it progresses. So digital, if you transfer digital to digital, the quality stays. So I think what they did was they uploaded it to a digital file, and then they re-edited. Like, I think in the case of Shattered Dead, he had to put the sound effects back in. But yeah, so so some of them, I guess a lot of them are shot on low budgets and video. So that's sort of the appeal of Vinegar Syndrome, I guess, is the fact that it's low budget cinema. So don't expect like high production values or like big studio effects or whatever. It's you get what you pay for. I don't know if you get, that's what their label sells. That's that's the kind of movie they make. It's like Trauma. Trauma, I guess, would sort of be considered bad taste or kind of offensive. I don't know, but there are Trauma lovers, and they, Criterion has certain people that attracts people to Criterion because of their special features, their good transfers, their analysis of a film, like by a professor or filmmaker, saying why such and such a film is important. Arrow has the cult film thing and the lots of special features on it, and so these boutique labels have their um, unique characteristics that classify them as a label, and then in Vinegar Syndrome's case, basically it's these low budget cheesy movies, and basically that's I think what their audiences um, their audience is aware of, and don't, so they don't have they don't have they don't put a high benchmark. I'm putting it bad. They accept it. I think it's a passion that's put into the movies. It's more the passion and just the spirit put into it, and judging it on those grounds rather than if it was made on high quality film and good lighting and all that shit. So I just swore. Okay, so anyways, here's a film they put on their label, Putney Swope with Robert Downey Sr. And I think it's like more of a higher end kind of a movie, which is sort of on the unusual side for Vinegar Syndrome, because it's I don't know really anything about this, but it's more of a highbrow movie, I think, and it just happens to be on the Vinegar Syndrome's label. Sometimes you see that crossover on some certain labels of movies. So yeah, so this one's Putney Swope, and I don't want to. It's got commentary with the director, video interview, and commentary with by a film critic and historian Sergio Mims, and an audio interview with cinematographer Gerald Kotz, and I can't get into all that. I gotta keep moving. Next up, this is a movie called Nightmare Sisters. I got two movies in the Vinegar Syndrome label. They're going to have in the title Sisters, and this is the first one. This one is Nightmare Sisters. I don't know anything about this, but it looks like a horror movie. So I do a lot of blind buys. With Criterion, usually I'm satisfied with a blind buy. Very seldom when I've bought Criterion as a blind buy have I been let down. There are certain directors I don't like that much, like Wes Anderson, for example. But I work at the library, and I got Life Aquatic, I think for free, the Criterion, and I think I got the Royal Tannenbaums for maybe $2 or $4. But I will say that you could watch a whole director's work, and you might not like most of their stuff, but you might like one or two of their movies. Like Ron Howard, for example, is an example. I think Cocoon's a good movie. I like Cinderella Man, but I don't like Apollo 13 or Beautiful Mind. I think he's kind of a mediocre film director, but so you never know with a filmmaker. Like, sometimes a filmmaker will make a lot of great films and they'll make a dud somewhere in the line. So you never know. The next one is The Caller with Malcolm McDowell and Madeline Smith. I have another movie with Malcolm McDowell. Well, two other movies with Malcolm McDowell. Obviously, you might guess Clockwork Orange, which I've seen many times. But there's another movie I have on Criterion called, what's it called? I should know this because what's the name of that movie? It's I can't even remember the director. What's that director? What's the film called? I'm going to stop it for a second here, and I'm going to look. Okay, it was If by Lindsay Anderson. That's the film that convinced Stanley Kubrick to cast Malcolm McDowell as Alex in Clockwork Orange. And I think he plays a juvenile delinquent in If. And I want to watch it. It's just one of those films I haven't got to watching yet. And it's by Lindsay Anderson. And I think Malcolm McDowell had a very good relationship with Lindsay Anderson before and after Kubrick. But anyways, so he's also in this movie called The Caller, which was recommended by another YouTuber. I'll put his name right here, Aaron Pinn. He talks about sales on his channel. And he's talked about Vinegar Syndrome a lot, as well as Master Chaos. Yeah, so this is a film he recommended. So as is the case with If, I will get to this at some point. I've got a lot of movies to watch, so it'll take a while. This doesn't have a ton of special features on here, just a few interviews, but yeah. Next up, this is a film Master Chaos was saying, I guess he didn't like it that much. I don't know if it's I sort of liked it, even though it's kind of disjointed, and I sort of like the craziness of it. It's called Red Spirit Lake. It's like witchcraft and people naked dancing around in snow and stuff. And even though it sort of doesn't make any sense in a way, I sort of like the craziness of it. But it comes to the double feature, which is this film, which is called We Await, which is god awful. Yeah, so We Await is just horrible. Red Spirit Lake, I don't know if it's the greatest. Is it under Vinegar Syndrome or Saturn's Core? Yeah, I think it's under Saturn's Core. So, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. I like some of Saturn's Core stuff. I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought Red Spirit Lake was interesting, and well, I don't know. I thought Shatter Dead would be interesting. And then they made No Resistance, which I liked. I thought wasn't too bad. This one is here's another Vinegar Syndrome. It's called New York Ninja. I think I watched a little bit of the starting of this. It was shot, I think it was shot in the 80s. And I think the footage was just sitting around somewhere. I don't know if they shot extra footage, and the sound reel was gone, so they redubbed some voice work in there. So it's kind of cheesy, I guess, but it looks kind of interesting. This was from a friend of mine, and I don't know if I took the plastic wrap off of this. Did I? Yeah, or I don't know. Maybe he did. Anyways, I think it's Vinegar Syndrome. Is it Vinegar Syndrome? It's Mondo Macabra, from the director of The Wild Boys and After Blue. It's an anthology, I think, Apocalypse After. So I don't know if Mondo Macabra. I thought this was a Vinegar Syndrome, but I guess it's a Mondo Macabra. This one I've watched. I've looked at the special features. It's called Shot. It's involving I think criminals who are drug dealers and cops, and it was made, I think, the early 70s. And when they made the movie, they were college students, and at that point in time, college students really hadn't made movies like they do now. So I think it was like the first of its kind, and nobody really had to worry about. I think maybe they had to have I don't know if they got permits, but they didn't have to worry about, like, you know, worrying about permits. Like, it was easy to get permits, and it was easy to shoot it, and I don't know if it was easy. You know, it was hard work, I guess. You know, it was, long days and all that stuff like filmmaking is, but like it didn't have the same complications you would have today. You know, like owning, like firing guns with blanks, and having a car go through a fence, helicopters and stuff. These days that would be probably cost more money and be a logistical nightmare, and you'd have to deal with a lot of red tape and hoops to jump through. So it's kind of an interesting film. I think it has a commentary on here. No, just as audio interview, but yeah. And then next up, this is called Luther the Geek. I don't know if it has does any special features. Well, it does have a commentary, yes, and a video interview, and it looks kind of interesting. I think it's originally made by what's her name? Oh, Trauma, yes. So I don't know. It looked kind of interesting. Next up, here's the other one with the sisters title in it, Psycho Sisters. A friend of mine was saying this is not that fantastic. And I think another person, I think Master Chaos, I don't know Master Chaos if he said this was bad or not. I don't know. But I'll see. I think the only way to truly say if you like a film or not is by seeing it. Because like sometimes like a lot of your friends will say, oh, this is a great movie, you got to watch it, and you don't like it. And then some people say this is a terrible movie, and you'll watch it and you'll like it. And there's the opposite of those as well. But anyways, I saw the trailer. That's what sort of drew me in. But I guess maybe it's bad. I don't know, but we'll see. I think it. Yeah, here's the tail end of this part of the video. This is a documentary called Mail Order Murder: The Story of Wave Productions. What does WAVE stand for? 400 shot on video features, but it's about these people that like in the trailer. The trailer's what got me to buy it. It's got audio commentary on it and interviews, and like the makeup artist was given I think it's a $50 makeup budget. So it's cheese, but it's entertaining cheese. So it should be an interesting documentary to watch. So that finishes the Vinegar Syndrome part of the video, and next up is the Kino part. So I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, next part of the video, we're doing the Kinos. None of these movies that I show, any of the labels or whatever, they're not going to be in any order of importance. So anyways, let's get to the first one of the Kinos. I still have a little wrapping on it. Just pulled it off. This is a film called Pasolini about the Italian poet, writer, film director Pasolini, Pier Paolo Pasolini, who directed probably his most famous film would be Salo, which I think is a masterpiece. Basically showing how governments can abuse their power. Salo's about fascist military and politicians who take these young people to a mansion in the outskirts of Italy and towards the end of World War II and subject them to all these tortures. And I think it's basically showing like what a government can do when they're left to their own devices, when they're all left to their own power. And Pasolini was murdered for that film. It was his last movie. Pasolini was an atheist, he was communist, and he was gay. So, but so he might have had some enemies. Somebody murdered him. I think the murderer was never brought to justice. I can't remember when I heard it, but I didn't know right away when I saw La Dolce Vita, one of my favorite films of all time by Fellini. But I didn't know that Pasolini had written, I think, he wrote the dialogue for the pimp in the film. And I guess Fellini and Pasolini had a falling out. So he's not credited in La Dolce Vita, but he did contribute a little to the movie. I have a few of his other movies on Criterion. I had the Sala on Criterion, which is a hard watch, because they do things like, there's a poop eating scene, and there's a scene where they cut the eyes and tongues out of the young people. They're doing it. They force them to do it to each other. So not an easy watch. And the tongue and eye cutting scene of the film, Pasolini didn't allow press onto the film except for that one day, and the photographer that was on the set that day, he was saying that Abu Ghraib in Iraq, when that happened later on, during the Iraq War, where the U.S. soldiers were subjecting the Iraqi people to torture and humiliation, he was saying like very similar kind of circumstances. But anyways, so this is Pasolini. It's directed by Abel Ferrara, and it stars Willem Dafoe as Pasolini. So this looks pretty appealing. It's got a conversation between Abel Ferrara and Willem Dafoe, a behind-the-scenes documentary, a theatrical trailer, and a booklet essay by film historian Brad Stevens. So, anyways, that's the first. Next up, this is by Andrei Tarkovsky, a Russian director. He made maybe he made like 7 movies or something. My favorite of his is Ivan's Childhood, which was his first, which is about an hour and a half. And I think he took it over from another director. So it's not very, it's very different from his other movies, because his other films, I thought like the vast majority of Tarkovsky's films were, one of his trademarks would be they were long. But like I showed Mirror in one of my older pickups video, maybe a year or two ago. I haven't watched my Criterion copy of Mirror. I have seen it before, but I thought that was a long movie, and it turns out I think it might be 2 hours long. I thought it was like, I don't know, 2 hours and 40 minutes or 3 hours long or more, because Andrei Rublev, his second movie, was 3 hours and 15 minutes. And Stalker, I believe, is 2 hours and 40 or 2 hours and 50. Solaris, I don't really like Solaris, but Solaris is in that ballpark of long movies. But anyways, he made 2 films, I believe, in what do you call that? Exile, because he was from the Soviet Union. And there's another interesting story about him was when they made Stalker. If you have Shatter, the horror streaming site, they have a series called Cursed Films, and one of the programs they feature Stalker, and how all the cast and crew basically died because they're exposed to chemicals while making the movie. And so Tarkovsky died of cancer, but he died not in Russia, I believe, but somewhere else. But he made The Sacrifice in Sweden, and with Arlen Josephine, who was in a lot of Ingmar Bergman movies. I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head, but Erland Josephine used to talk to Ingmar Bergman like once a week, and they talk about the same subjects. I think death. I can't remember, but I don't know. It's kind of like existential discussions like every week. And Bergman, I think Ingmar Bergman might have talked to Lee Volman every week. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know all my sources on that. But anyways, and Erland Josephine was in The Sacrifice. He was also in this one, Nostalghia, which I think was shot in Italy. Pretty sure. It looks like Italian names here. But and I have watched this and I like it. I guess there's no special features with this. I noticed with the Kino buys that I don't think a lot of them looked like they had hardly any special features with them. Okay, next up, a Fritz Lang film. I recently watched Metropolis for one of my Facebook groups for silent film. We decided to watch a silent movie for September. So I watched a documentary on the Metropolis Kino that I have, and I've watched it before. Sometimes I watch things over again. And anyways, he talked. The narrator talked about another film that he made called Women in the Moon, Frau im. I don't know what the title of it is in German, but it was written by his wife Thea Harbo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Thea von Harbo. And Fritz Lang was asked by Joseph Goebbels of the propaganda party part of the Nazi party to be the to be the head of the film part of the Nazi party, and Fritz Lang fled the country and went to Paris, and then he went to America. And there's a little controversy about that because I think they said he might have come back to Germany after that during the Nazi times, and so there's like a little gray area to that. And Thea von Harbo stayed behind in Germany when the Nazis came to power. And then Fritz Lang, after leaving France, he was in the U.S. for a while. I think he directed like 47 features in the U.S. And then he made, I think according to the documentary on Metropolis, he made his last movie, A Thousand Eyes of Dr. Mabuse. In 1960, he did 3 Mabuse films. He did Dr. Mabuse, The Gambler, and The Teens, I believe it was, which I have. It's about a 4-hour movie. I think it sort of set the premise or the prototype for the James Bond supervillains. And then he did The Testament of Dr. Mabuse in the early 30s, I think 33, and he had to smuggle that film out of Germany because I think it's sort of critical of the Nazis, and like Mabuse sort of represents Hitler. And he made some other great films, Metropolis, as I mentioned, a great science fiction film, which sort of laid the groundwork for like Blade Runner and like the cityscape that you see in Metropolis, or you can sort of see in Blade Runner, and like the robot sort of makes you think of C-3PO. And he did another movie, I think it was his first sound film, called M, which is about a child murderer, and the child murderer is played by Peter Lorre, so that's a good movie. But it was based on a true story. But anyways, he made another one called Woman in the Moon in the silent era, science fiction film, and it looks kind of silly, I mean, I haven't watched it yet, but like I've looked at it a little bit. Like they're not wearing spacesuits when they land on the moon. And I hear on the documentary, I just looked at a tiny bit of I think of the documentary, they brought sand from the Baltics or something into the set. But yeah, maybe it suffers a bit, because they're not wearing spacesuits, but it should be interesting. But next up, as I mentioned with the Ingmar Bergman face-to-face movie, that's not featured in the Ingmar Bergman Cinema Criterion box set, which basically is almost all of Ingmar Bergman's movies. So in the case of Fellini, there's a Fellini Criterion box set called Essential Fellini, but it doesn't have all of his films. It doesn't have City of Women. It doesn't have his last movie called something of the Loon, something of the Moon. It's with Roberto Benigni. I haven't seen that one. Doesn't have The Clowns. Doesn't have Ginger and Fred. And it doesn't have this one, Fellini's Casanova with Donald Sutherland. This is a commentary by film critic Nick Pinkerton and a trailer. So, yeah. So, we'll see how that is. Next up, this is with Kristen Slater, Marissa Tomei, and Rosie Perez, called Untamed Heart. It's a romance. Kind of interesting movie. It's got a commentary by the director, Tony Bill, moderated by filmmaker Douglas Hosdale, in a trailer. Yeah, I like the romance of it. I've seen it, maybe it was the 90s, I can't remember. And then to finish off this Kino part of the video, this is Michelangelo Antonioni's Il Grido. Again, no special features, but I guess that means the outcry in Italian. That's what the translation is. This was a neorealist film. Because I think with Antonioni, like his later movies, or I don't know if it's all his later movies, but like, because I don't know if it was the case in The Passenger, which is a masterpiece. My favorite Antonioni movie would be La Notte with Michelangelo Mastroianni and what's her name, Jean Moreau. It also has a appearance by Monica Vitti, who's sort of like, who was Antonioni's muse, if you will. I think Monica Vitti died maybe a few years ago. I'm pretty sure she's dead now. But yeah, she was in La Ventura, which was like a huge landmark in cinema history, like with new cinema language. And La Notte was the second one in that trilogy. It wasn't a trilogy in the sense of like the same characters, but like, I don't know, existential malaise or, like characters not relating to one another, being alone, or, and then the third film he made in that was La Eclipse, the eclipse. La Notte means the night, and then La Ventura, the first one, was the journey or the adventure. And he made Blow Up, which is his first English language movie, which I like a lot too, with David Hemmings in as the main character, who takes this photo and then realizes he's in something bigger than he imagined. I don't know if I should give that much away. That's a good Criterion. One of the best Criterions I've ever bought was Blow Up. And there's two other films that follow the same kind of story pattern as Blow Up, which is Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation, which was 1974, I believe. Same year he did Godfather 2. And Brian De Palma's Blowout, which is 1979 or 1981 or something like that. And Blowout is also on Criterion. And Conversation, I think, is like one of the what do you call that? Underrated, one of the most underrated movies of the 1970s. But I guess it's higher rated now because I think it's a lot of people like it, or a lot of critics like it. But yeah. So, anyways, that's El Grido. So I think it doesn't feature like the wealthy people that are some of his other movies. I think it's more poor or working man kind of stuff, So, anyways, that's that. So let me see. Arrow is the next. So we'll get to Arrow the following part. Okay, we're back. Just well, we're right after. You didn't notice the time passing, obviously. All right. Anyways, let's get to the next part. So we're doing arrows now. In no particular order, no particular importance. So the first one I have here is Robocop. I originally bought Robocop. The first time I bought it was on DVD. It's an MGM UA 10, which I like a lot, and that's a DVD. Now Arrow has released Robocop again in their catalog, but I don't think I think it has all the special features of the previous edition, but not a booklet. So this was one of the cases where I went on eBay and bought it. But anyways, here it is. And this is loaded, and I mean loaded with special features. It's got the director's cut, the theatrical cut. It's commentary. It's got all the special features you find on the MGM UA one, plus other special features that are not there. I don't want to get into. Just look it up on YouTube, Google, and you can find out all the special features because it's just going to take forever to talk about this. But there's I saw in part of it because I haven't dug into this yet. But there's there's some extra special features that you don't find in the MGM UA version, like the cast and crew being interviewed at a screening of the movie. It has more stuff on here. But it has. Let me just. It has a poster. First off, let me show the poster. That's what's great about these arrows is they have posters. So here's a poster on this side, and then there's a poster on the other. I think everybody's familiar with this one. Part man, part machine, all cop. So that, and same logo, same byline here, but with a sort of painting aspect there. And then it comes with a book. Nice book here. When I got it from eBay, it didn't come in the plastic wrap, the shrink wrap, but it's in mint condition. And I don't think it was the cheapest, but I don't know if I can show you all the pages because it's kind of hard to. It's kind of hard to hold them still, but yeah. But yeah, it's got a load of stuff in here. Yeah. I just thought in my head, Phil Tippett, who did the stop motion animation for this movie, who also worked in the Star Wars films. In case you're interested in Phil Tippett, this also comes with postcards. Phil Tippett has a show on Shatter. So if you're interested, just to let you know that. I highly recommend Shatter. Not necessarily because of, because I like the foreign Criterion films a lot, foreign films a lot. I do like Hollywood films. I do like, but I like foreign films a lot because you see life from a different perspective, and yet you also realize that people are the same as you are anywhere in the world. Everybody has the same feelings, But what was I saying? So I was talking about. What was I talking about? Shutter. Yes, Shutter. But anyways, yeah, I guess the films are okay to watch on Shutter. It's just Joe Bob Briggs, who's this really interesting film critic. He was in my favorite living director is Martin Scorsese, and my favorite director of all time is Stanley Kubrick. And Martin Scorsese made this film called Casino after he made Goodfellas, and one of the actors in the movie is Joe Bob Briggs. He's the guy when the three jackpots go, and you know they all, well, what do they call those things? They're one-armed bandit things. They're all of them give lots of money. All three of them at once, and he's saying, "Okay, Sam, I'll take care of it." And he says, Robert De Niro says to him, "It's Mr. Rothstein," and he fires him. But that's Joe Bob Briggs. Joe Bob Briggs was the what do you call that? Valedictorian of Vanderbilt University, where he went to college. That's not his real name, but Shutter has this. He has a great show on Shutter called Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, and he shows a horror movie, and he not only talks about the horror movie that he's showing, and he has breaks during the film. He cuts in during breaks, which I don't mind in that particular aspect. But he also talks about life in general, so that's interesting too. Because he talks about things that just life in general. His interesting comments as well about that, and that he tells two jokes at the end of the show, and he has guests on, like people that are involved with the movie you're watching, or are celebrities or critics or whatever. And then he has this woman, Darcy, the mail girl, who gives him mail from his fans, and and they have the Silver Bolo Award, where they award somebody award for being good, promoting the horror phenomenon, and because he wears a bolo tie, because he's from the Arkansas, or is he from Texas? Maybe he was born in Texas, but yeah. So, anyways, this film I talked about, I showed Shogun's Joy, Torture, and Orgies of Ado in a previous video, which I think the title of the video was Arrow Sale Pickups or something like that. It's like it was like May or April of this year that you'll see that video on my channel. But so I purchased those two movies, and this is the third in the series. They're not connected as in terms of characters, like a trilogy kind of a thing. Just like I mentioned, Antonioni, like the existential ones. Obviously, they're not related to these, but they're related in the sense that they don't have the same characters it's not a continuing story as in the same characters go to the same movie. Just like sort of like the Dollar trilogy. I mean, Clint Eastwood is the man with no name, but it doesn't follow like the same story like Star Wars or Godfather does, So, but anyways, he did what's his name, Teru Ishii. He did this, and that's the third, and it's kind of interesting and kind of out there, but it's kind of interesting, I guess. And I did watch this. And there's another film he did that I will show. I don't think it's the next. Oh, it is the next one. And I did show another movie of his on a previous video. I don't know where it is on my channel, but it's called Blind Woman's Curse. And I bought that because it had Mako Kaji in it, who was in the female Prisoner Scorpion movies. That's a great Arrow box set. I highly recommend the Female Prisoner Scorpion box set. A lot of fun. They're like exploitation films. They're woman in prison movies, and she's a Japanese woman that's been falsely accused. But yeah, she's in those, and then I have a Criterion of her in Lady Snowblood and the sequel that comes with it. And if you watch Kill Bill, you'll hear some of the music from Lady Snowblood, and Meiko Kaji sang the music as well in that music, but in that movie. But Teru Ishii, rather, maybe he made this after Horrors of Malformed Men, but anyways, it's another movie he made. Inferno of Torture. So, of course, I forgot that some of these have, of course, some of them come with postcards. But they come with books. You know, some movies that you buy come with books, and this is one of those cases. You know. So, anyways, yeah. So I guess it's an exploitation movie, lots of nudity and violence, but yeah. And Arrows are known for their reversible artwork. That's like one of their trademarks. And lots of special features as well. Most of the time, I guess, or some of the time. I don't know. I think they do. I can't remember where I heard this was a good film, but Line Beast, another film directed by Yasuzo Masumura. Got an audio commentary on it. Introduction by Tony Raines, who's also on Criterion's as well. He did the commentary on A Brighter Summer Day, which is like a 4-hour film by Edward Yang, but not boring at all. It's a great movie. And he did another commentary, I think maybe he did a commentary. Did he do a commentary on Celine and Julie Go Boating with the Jacques Rivette French film? Was that him? I don't know. But I think he did another commentary on an Asian movie besides Brighter Summer Day, and I think I listened to it fairly recently. But I can't remember. Was it Horrors of Malformed Men, maybe? I don't know. But anyways, and I think he's on some Ingmar Bergman ones, Tony Raines. So you know, he's been featured on a fair number of Criterions, and I think he's on some of the Arrows. Well, he's on a few of the. Oops, I don't want to show anything bad there. I think he's on. Well, yeah, he's on some of the Arrows as well. So. Yeah. I'm not showing these correctly. Oops. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Another Japanese movie. I like a lot of Asian movies. I've got I don't know how many Criterions I have. I have a lot of them. There's like 1,000 in their catalog. There's over 1,000 in their catalog. This is a slipcover case. But maybe I have 600, 700 Criterions. I have a lot of Criterions. And a good portion of them are Japanese ones. And they do have a lot of Japanese titles in Criterion. I mean, they have other countries too, but I was taught the Japanese language when I was in fourth grade. I don't really know it fluently, but I know some words and phrases. And I had a sixth grade teacher, Japanese, and then after high school, adult continuing education. That's not college, but it's courses you take after high school. You don't get credit or anything, but I took a course in Japanese language there, and now I watch JapanesePod101.com on YouTube with Risa as the Japanese language teacher. Which is Wednesdays, 11 p.m. Eastern time, which is Thursday noon Tokyo time. And when daylight savings time comes, when it ends, I guess it's going to be 10 p.m. Wednesday Eastern time. It'll be noon. Japan doesn't observe daylight savings time. So, and then here's the last arrow for this part of the video. I guess Sacha said this was a good, interesting movie or whatever. It's got Sonny Chiba in it and Atsuko Shihomi. I think it's got 4 films in here, but it's called Sister Street Fighter. So video interviews, isolated score, trailers. Maybe it doesn't have a lot of special features because you're getting all the movies. But yeah, I don't know if, oops, it looks like this one is not securely in place. I don't know. I guess it's 2 discs. It looks like it's not securely in place there. Oh no, it isn't. I don't know. Maybe how do you get it securely in place here? I think, oh wait a minute. I don't know what's going on here. Well, anyways, I don't want to hold you up there. Okay, that finishes the arrows, and I guess we're on to the last part of the video, which is the Criterions. So I'll be back in a sec with the Criterions. Okay, last part here, Criterions. I got quite a lot of Criterions because I bought a whole bunch during the sale. But I'll start off with a film that was out of print. I saw it several times in previous sales at Barnes and Noble, and but the thing that the push that made me buy it, another YouTuber, I'll put his name here, Trash Picture Show, Marty. He was saying on one of the Night Watch Zone's Night's channel, Night did a thing about what moment, what scene in a horror movie has scared you a lot, and Marty was saying something apart from this movie, Don't Look Now, with Julie Christie and Donald Sutherland, and it's directed by Nicholas Rouge. So that's sort of like what drove me to buy this. It's got a conversation on here between the editor and film writer and historian. And Don't Look Now, a documentary. Death in Venice, an interview with the composer. A new piece on the writing and making of the film. with interviews with Julie Christie and Donald Sutherland, and I guess a documentary on Nicholas Roeg, maybe, with Danny Boyle and Steven Soderbergh talking to them, and Q&A with Roeg at London Cine Lumiere. So I don't know. We'll see how it is. I bought this off of eBay, and it was in good shape, just like the Robocop arrow, you know. So I also showed Shatter Dead on here. Shatter Dead I also bought off of eBay. I should have waited for the Vinegar Syndrome sale because I could have got a few dollars cheaper. The thing about it, though, is anything I've ordered off of eBay, almost everything, except for maybe a few things. Like if I order it Monday, it gets there Wednesday or Thursday, very fast. Vinegar Syndrome, sometimes I wait further, long amount, sometimes a little more time. I guess it's one of their things, but I don't know. I'm not gonna die if I don't have a Vinegar Syndrome like right away. You know, a movie in general. You know, because I have a lot of movies anyways, and you know, I can wait. You know, I'm not gonna die. You know, so anyways, so getting to the Barnes and Noble sale now. Here's the first one I picked up, Double Indemnity, which is by Billy Wilder, with what's his name, Fred McMurray and Barbara Stanwyck. And Raymond Chandler, I guess, wrote the screenplay with Billy Wilder. That's pretty interesting. Commentary by Richard Schickel. Richard Schickel did a commentary on Good, Bad, and the Ugly. He's a good writer. He's dead now, but his commentary on Good, Bad, and Ugly, I didn't think was that fantastic. A person that good commentaries. As far as good commentaries go, Martin Scorsese does excellent commentaries. For the most part, like basically he always does. It just I think on Mean Streets he said, oh this restaurant we shot at, it had good veal, you know, but otherwise than that, you know. And there are other good commentators. Roger Ebert on. I think I heard his commentary at Citizen Kane. That was pretty good. You know, there are other good commentators besides Martin Scorsese and Roger Ebert, but there's some bad ones too, like the Farley brothers on Shallow Hal. I don't know. I took Shallow Hal at a video store back in the long time back, and that was pretty bad. The commentary and the film, I guess, but interview with a film scholar with Billy Wilder and Simon. New conversation between film historians Eddie Muller and Imogene Sarah. And there's a film by Volker Schlorndorf about Billy, how did you do it? Documentary on the making of Double Indemnity, Shadows of Suspense, radio adaptations, trailer. So, anyways, this is a film noir. I've seen it before. Barbara Stanwyck is the femme fatale. She convinces Fred McMurray to murder her husband, and well, I don't want to say anything more, but it's a film noir. And this is by Douglas Sirk. This is called All That Heavens Allows. I bought this because Fassbender was hugely influenced by Douglas Sirk, and I love Fassbender's films because they're talking about social class. You know, I think this guy's a gardener, and he falls in love with a woman that lives at the who lives there. Yeah, it's got Rock Hudson, Jane Wyman, Agnes Moorehead, pretty big cast there. But I guess it's involving social classes and power dynamics and whatever, but forbidden love, like, um, yeah. So it's, I don't know, it's challenging social norms and whether suppressing your feelings is a healthy way of acting, like if you're repressing something like loving somebody, like is that healthy for you to repress or not deal with, like I don't know, but anyways, he had a huge influence on Fassbinder, so that's basically the reason I bought it. It's got a commentary by film scholars John Mercer and Tamar Jeffers McDonald, Rock Hudson's Home Movies, French television interview with Douglas Sirk, excerpts from Behind the Mirror or Profile Douglas Sirk, interview with William Reynolds, I guess, who co-starred in 3 Sirk movies. Yeah. Okay, next up. This is I think it's German. It's called Kameradschaft, which it's about a mine and German and French people. This most of the time when I buy Criterions off of Barnes and from Barnes and Noble, I buy it off their website. But I was in their store, so that's where I got all the Heaven Allows, and I got this one, Kameradschaft, by G.W. Pabst, and it's about these, I think it's German miners. No, it's French miners, and Germans and French people help to get them out of the mine. So I guess it's about like working together, even though you might be enemies. Yeah. I know I'm skipping it over a little bit, but I'm trying to. I still got a few. I got a little bit more to go through, so I'm trying to push through this. Rouge. It's in Cantonese. I think it's a Hong Kong filmmaker, or maybe not. Maybe it's Taiwan. It's just 1930s Hong Kong, so maybe it is Hong Kong. Let me see. Yang and Yin, Gender in Chinese Cinema, 1987 documentary by Kwan exploring the representation of queerness and LGBT identity in Chinese film. Still Love You After all these 1997 memoir film by Kwan about his Hong Kong identity. So it's about, I think it's a lesbian love story or something like that, but I don't know. I thought the cover of the movie was cool. The cover right there. And I do a lot of blind buys, so, and most of the time in Criterion, as I've said before in the video, was I'm satisfied. I'm very rarely let down. Here's a film by a Iranian filmmaker. I've seen his. If you're thinking of buying some Iranian movies, I recommend the Koker trilogy by Abbas Kiarostami. It's 3 films set in Iran, and this is one of them. I mean, not one of them. That's a box set, and it features 3 films. He also did another really good film called Taste of Cherry, about a guy who wants to commit suicide, and he's having trouble doing that. And Close Up's not a bad film too, but he's done some other movies. and this one's called Certified Copy. Maybe he didn't make this in Iran, I'm not sure. But it's got Juliette Binoche in this, and opera singer William Schimmel. So I don't think this was made in Iran. It's got a 1977 film that he did. So, yeah, but he's a fantastic film director. Iranian cinemas, there's some really good Iranian movies, like The Circle, which is basically about how women are treated in Iranian society. It might have got some backlash when it came out. There's another good one called Baran, about a young woman that poses as a boy so she can, what do you call that? So her family can survive financially. One called, it's called the White Sands or something. White Meadows. That's pretty cool. It's like beautiful imagery. And another really good movie set in the Middle East is a Saudi Arabian one, which I wish it was nominated for best foreign film, called Wajda, Wadjda, about a young woman who wants a bicycle, and so in order to get the bicycle, she takes a Quran contest to get the money to buy a bike. So that's a pretty good film, because Saudi Arabia, at least before that, and maybe after, I don't know, at least before that, movies were not allowed. It was against the law. Television was allowed, but movie theaters were against the law, and filmmaking was against the law. In fact, the filmmaker who made Wajda was a woman filmmaker, and she had to wear the burqa, and she couldn't be on the street directing the scenes with the Wajda kid, the girl playing Wajda, so she had to direct from a van with a monitor. So it's interesting. I don't own that film, but I've seen it, and it's a really good movie. This is some of these movies you're going to see here are influenced by Sacha, because he bought them, so I thought I'd buy them. Farewell, Amor, this is one of them. I don't know what this is about. I guess it's a feature debut for this filmmaker, Ekwa Masangi. I don't know if that's the way to pronounce it, but yeah. So there's a commentary by the director and the cinematographer, some short films by, I think it's a woman that directed this movie, but interviews with the actors and deleted scenes in a trailer. So, okay, this one is called Eyemofe, This Is My Desire, and it's in Nigerian English, and it's directed by two twin brothers, and I guess it's shot in Lagos, Nigeria. I don't know anything. I just thought this looked interesting. It's got a commentary, deleted scenes commentary. Not for the film, but for the deleted scenes conversation between the directors. Short films by them, I guess. And yeah. Yeah, I don't mind when I buy Criterions with blind buys, because usually I'm satisfied, because they have good taste. This is a film made by Alex Cox. Now, I've seen, I think I have, besides this one, I have two other films by him. One which I've seen, which is called Sid and Nancy, which was Gary Oldman's first film that he starred in, and he plays Sid Vicious of the Sex Pistols. Excellent performance, really good movie. That's on Criterion. I have another one of his Alex Cox film on Criterion, which is Repo Man, which has Emilio Estevez in it, and it's got music by Iggy Pop. But I haven't watched that yet. But anyways, here's another one he did called Walker. I guess it's a Western, but I bought it because it's Alex Cox. It's got a commentary by Cox and screenwriter. It's got dispatches from Nicaragua, a documentary about the filming of Walker, reminiscences from the extra on the film, 2 short films, behind the scenes photos. So yeah, I haven't even looked at this book. I don't even know if there's pictures in here. Oh, there's some pictures. Yeah, some pictures there. Yeah. I'm not showing you every picture. That takes forever. Okay. Next up, this is a film called Love Jones by Theodore Witcher. Set in 1990 Chicago. It's got Lawrence Tate and Nia Long. Sacha says this is good, I think, he said. So it's got an interview with the director and a film scholar Raquel J. Gates, audio commentary featuring Witcher, interview with music scholars Mark Anthony Neal and Shana L. Redmond on the soundtrack, panel discussion featuring Witcher and members of the cast and crew featurette, so I know maybe some of these I'm jumping up, oops. Maybe some of these I'm going fast on this, but this video is probably really long. I haven't edited this video yet, but I know it's long. Anyways, this is a film by a director I like his films a lot. Bong Joon-ho. I love Parasite. I love that movie. I think that's great. Maybe it's becoming one of my new favorite movies of all time, and it's really rewatchable. But he made this other movie called Okja. I like Snowpiercer too. Host, I thought was okay, but I met Bong Joon-ho and he signed my Host DVD. And Mother, I think I watched as well. Yeah, when I met Bong Joon-ho, they were showing Mother at the Jacob Burns Film Center. I guess Tilda Swinton, Paul Dano, Stephen Yeun, and Jake Gyllenhaal are in this. Interviews with the cinematography people, visual effects, costume production design, video diary by Bong Joon-ho, actors Paul Dano, Jake Gyllenhaal, Tilda Swinton. Yeah. I guess it's supposed to be like a fun movie, this one right here. Maybe it's oriented towards children. I don't know. Or, just, I don't know. But anyways, we'll see. I know Okja is on Netflix, or was, but I like to watch it. I like to have my own copy. That's the case with The Irishman. I know that's on Netflix. I've seen it on Netflix. I do have a copy of it on Criterion. I do want to watch Irishman over again. Here's another Japanese movie. It's called Drive My Car. I think it was up for Best Picture this year. Did it come out this year? 2021. Yeah, I think it was up for Best Picture. It says it's a 3-hour movie, 179 minutes. So it's got a program about the making of the movie, press conferences they can. Some of these Criterion films have a press conference at the Cannes Film Festival. They have that on Memories of Murder. They have that on, is it on Memories of Murder? I think so. And it's on Parasite, and not just on Bong Joon-ho movies, but like a film called Boat People, which was set in Vietnam with a Japanese photographer, and the director's from Hong Kong, and she's in a Cannes film press discussion on that one. So, and there's one on David Cronenberg's Crash as well, I believe, on these Criterion. So yeah, I'll show the inside right there. So another of my many Japanese films to add. But I do think I gotta slow down on my movie buying. I gotta watch some of these things, and not that I can't just buy. Devil in a Blue Dress with Denzel Washington and directed by Carl Franklin, based on the novel by Walter Mosley. I know there's a song "Devil in the Blue Dress." I don't know if this is based on that. New conversation between Franklin and actor Don Cheadle. New conversation between Walter Mosley, author of the novel on which the film is based, and novelist and screenwriter Attica Locke. On-stage conversation between Franklin and film historian Eddie Muller, recorded at the 2018 Noir City Film Festival in Chicago. Screen test for Cheadle. Yeah, that's nice. I like that artwork there. I don't like what it's a nice layout there, but I like it when Criterion has booklets rather than pamphlets. I think Criterion is sort of listening to people on the internet, hearing them say they want the booklets. I don't know. I think that's the case. Next up, wasn't the first blaxploitation film, but it's probably one of the most famous ones of all of them. Shaft with Richard Roundtree, directed by Gordon Parks. I have another film by Gordon Parks that I bought on a previous sale, which is The Learning Tree, which I have not watched. Incidentally, Richard Roundtree was in Seven by David Fincher. Just, and it's got music by Isaac Hayes in this, and of course, I think everybody's heard the Shaft song. It's got the sequel, Shaft's Big Score. It's got a documentary featuring curator Rhea L. Combs, film scholar Raquel J. Gates, filmmaker Nelson George, and music scholar Shana L. Redmond. Soul and Cinema, Shaft on Location, archival interviews with Parks, musician Isaac Hayes, and actor Richard Roundtree. New program on Hayes score, featuring Redmond. New interview with costume designer Joseph J. Aluzzi. New program on The Black Detective, featuring scholar Kinohi Nishikawa and novelist Walter Mosley. A Complicated Man, The Shaft Legacy. But anyways, next up. This was probably my second favorite Martin Scorsese film. I already have it on DVD, and that copy is signed by Paul Schrader and Kathy Moriarty. Paul Schrader's also signed by Taxi Driver and what's the other one? Last Temptation of Christ. And but I guess I wanted this with the transfer and a few special features that weren't on the MGM UA release. So this is Raging Bull. I'd probably be the same with Taxi Driver if they put that on Criterion. Because Taxi Driver, I have a DVD. I've gone through a few different editions of Taxi Driver. I had it on videotape in Pan and Scan, then on Letterbox, and then I had it on DVD. One DVD, DVD twice. I can't remember with the different. I think the second DVD has more special features. Maybe that's why I bought it. I don't know. I'd be triple dipping, I guess, if I bought Taxi Driver on Blu-ray. I don't know, but if it appeared on Criterion, I might dip. Like I did that with. I've done that with a few other movies, like David Lynch's Eraserhead and Mulholland Drive and Blue Velvet. And there's some other movies too besides those. Or like in the case of Jean-Luc Godard's Weekend and Breathless, the Criterions of Breathless and Weekend, they've got all these special features, but they don't have the commentaries that are on the Kino Lorber or Koch Lorber, whatever it is, of Breathless as a commentary, and then the New Yorker Films release of Weekend, which is my favorite Godard movie. And Godard died recently, just so I'm sure people know that, yeah, the New Yorker release of Weekend has a commentary on it. I don't know if Weekend is a comedy or a commentary on socialism and communism. It's not socialism and capitalism, but I don't know. I forgot that Martin Scorsese was in this. Oh, I forgot. Did I? Yeah, I mentioned that. Around Midnight is the film I'm showing now. I've been sidetracked, I guess. And Martin Scorsese, I forgot, is in this movie. I only recall that because I see it mentioned here, but I forgot that he was in this. I haven't watched this yet. Bertrand Tavernier. He's a French director. I think he's French. He directed this. I saw him on the Parasite Criterion, and he said to Bong Joon-ho, when they were being interviewed, he was saying that he thinks Memories of Murder is his best film. Memories of Murder is good. I watched it. I liked it, but Parasite is really way ahead. I don't know. I really love Parasite. I can't get enough of Parasite. I could watch a film that has high rewatchable value, Parasite. This is a Japanese movie called The Funeral. Interviews with the actors, creative marriages, a short program, commercials, trailers. I don't want to get into tons and tons of detail about all these movies. You can look them up on Google, You don't have to have me tell you every single thing. I'm just showing what I've picked up, I don't want to get into tons and tons of detail. I'm sure this video is really long. I'm at 31 minutes just showing the Criterions alone, So I know I'm taking up. I know I've recorded a lot of footage, and I know this video will be a tiny bit longer with the two pieces that I have of my friend Sacha on the video. Anyways, second to last video on this video. Second to last Blu-ray on this video that I'm showing. The Criterions as well. Chan is missing. And it's in English, Cantonese, and Mandarin. I know Master Cass was saying don't buy this, but I bought this. Basically, I bought this because I think Wayne Wang. I think he's mentioned on the book Feature Filmmaking at Used Car Prices by Rick Schmidt. Maybe on Extreme DV at Used Car Prices, which stands for Digital Video. It's basically how to make a movie for like $12,000 or $6,000. I mean, the concept of the first book was you could make a movie, sell you a used car and make a movie for the price of a used car. That's the concept of the book. So I think he's pretty almost positive that he was maybe this film is mentioned. I think this film is mentioned on Future Filmmaking at Used Car Prices in the book. That's why I bought it. That's the reason why I bought this. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have bought it, I would say. And here's the last one. Sacha said this was a good one. Pariah, a film by D. Rouge. Conversation between director D. Rouge and filmmaker and Professor Michelle Parkerson. Cast reunion featuring Rouge and actors Adipero Odoi, Pernell Walker, Kim Wayans, Charles Parnell, and Aisha Davis, moderated by film scholar Jacqueline Stewart. New program on the making of the film featuring Rouge, cinematographer Bradford Young, production designer Inbal Weinberg, producer Nikisa Cooper, and editor Maka Kamasuna, moderated by Stewart. New interview with film scholar Kara Keeling, author of Queer Times, Black Futures. That's that, I guess. I sort of read all that because I thought, I'm coming to the tail end of the video here, and I might as well, I could maybe indulge myself a little bit there. I don't know. Okay, so that's it. I can't believe it. I finished it, and anyways, so I finished the video. It's, according to the computer, it's 2:09 a.m. 2:09. It's 2:09 right now. Right now it's a Monday in the morning, 2:09 in the morning. So probably the next step, I think, is Monday. During the day after work, maybe I'll edit this and then put it up on YouTube. So you'll probably see it soon. Okay, and I probably got some music coming down the pipeline as well fairly soon. So anyways, thanks for watching. I won't keep you any longer. And this narration from the Part of Hiroshima album is next. So thanks for watching. Bye now.
Now came the end of war, some that people had prayed for, others denying to the end. For when the atomic bomb would be dropped on Hiroshima, Japan, it would be the end of all world wars. A new war would begin, a Cold War. A group of nations would begin stockpiling weapons of mass destruction. Nuclear weapons. It would let loose the dogs of war, and a scientist named Robert Oppenheimer would become part of something that he would later regret. He saw the test bombings of the atomic bomb on July 16th, 1945. He would quote from the Hindi scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita, and say these immortal words. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.